special shout out to our sponsor, Qualia. Qualia is the category-creating digital closing platform used by thousands of lenders across the country to seamlessly work with their title and escrow partners. By working better together, Qualia is powering lenders to deliver a differentiated closing experience for their clients. Through real-time communications, closing status updates, and workflow management, Qualia brings lenders together with home buyers and sellers, title and escrow agents, and real estate agents for a secure and seamless closing experience. Qualia is proud to have been awarded the Housing Wire Tech 100 Award for real estate, as well as CB Insights FinTech 250 Award. Discover how you can work more efficiently with your title and escrow partners at qualia.com/innovators. That's QUALIA.com/innovators.
Alrighty, well, I have been elected Chief Cat Wrangler of these four gentlemen, who I'm sure you all know and love very well. Let's give it up again for Josh, Jason, Dave, and Alex.
Woo!
All right. So what we're talking about is setting a 5-star experiences, which all of these gentlemen, the companies that they represent, do so incredibly well. But what we're going to be focusing on is some real specifics, and we're going to be talking about during the loan transaction, kind of a before, during, and after look at it, which are the phases of the customer journey or the customer experience. And sometimes I think with the shift in the market, people might say, hey, we don't have time to pay attention to customer experience right now. It's got to be about, cost cutting or efficiency. This is exactly the time to be paying a lot of attention to customer experience because the consumers have spoken and have said, we expect more right now out of the experience. We want high tech, we want high touch, we want digital, but we want that human love. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And again, kind of a before, during, and after. And each of these gents has some slides that they're going to share, but we're going to get it kicked off with the before. So get us started here.
Great. As Sue said, now is the time that customer experience is of utmost importance, right? With the recapture rates at 18% and conversion rates going down, you have to wow every customer you have. So what we want to talk about is the before. Now, what we're going to do is quickly go over, and I think this really will sum up what the market looks like now for the before. The before is when someone raises their hand and says, hey, I'm interested in a loan. They may call you, they may go to your website, they may meet you at an open house. That's the before, the start of the transaction. So what we wanted to see is how do lenders respond in the before when it comes to digital marketing. And we have 4 years of surveys we've done. Each year it's been disappointing, but let me just go the stats here. We've surveyed over 1,700 companies. This last year in June, we did 499. We went to their websites, we applied to see if they would call, email, or text us. We said, we want a loan, and we tracked them. Just some quick stats. 40% of the lenders in America that we surveyed never responded to an online inquiry. Not a phone call, not a text, not an email. If you look at the response time, the average response time, I think is like 19 hours. Consumers expect what? Now. Not 19 hours, not tomorrow, not next week, now. I want you to call me.
19 seconds.
19 seconds, that's right. If you look at a lot of lenders, look at like the Quickens in the world, they're calling their customers in like 3 seconds from when they raise their hand. Some other stats I thought was really interesting was this. Other lenders that did actually reach out and call their customer, only 53% of them followed up more than one time. So of the 60% of the people that got called, half of those only got called one time. Of the people that called more than one time was 1.4 times was the average. Now this was a surprising stat. Less than 1% of our lenders emailed, called, or texted a lead. So maybe they emailed, maybe they called, maybe they texted, but they didn't do all three. Actually, only 11% of lenders actually use text messaging. So if you want to talk about the before, what we can say right now is the mortgage industry is really behind in the before. Mm-hmm. And consumers want now. They want you to respond to them immediately. So I think what lenders should do is go to your website, check all the entry points of how you could get a loan from your company, give yourself a test run, custom, secret shop yourself. I think that would be a very impactful to test what your before looks like. So I think we're going to get into the.
Well, I have to share a super quick story. So Josh and I were in a joint selling situation once upon a time. We went into a large lender, but we didn't expect they were going to have 30 people around this conference room for this presentation. And I will never forget, because what Josh said is he kind of got started talking, and he said, and actually last Thursday at 11:46 a.m., I actually applied for a loan on your website. And I'm going to let you know in just a minute how you did in following up. Literally, all 30 people were like, ugh, and they couldn't wait to hear how did we do? And so ask yourself that question. If somebody said to you right now, hey, went to your website yesterday at 10 o'clock in the morning, I applied, I'll let you know what happened, how would you feel? Would you feel like, no problem, we got this? Or would you feel a little bit nervous inside, right?
Yeah, no, and I think if I remember, it took them like 6.5 hours to respond to us. So
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It was eye-opening for them.
Well, and one of the things I want to go to you, Dave, talking a little bit about the before, because I know this is something that you really specialize in, thinking about like the total cost analysis and how you're adding. So you're talking about speed to contact. With, by the way, who was in here for Scott's really fast presentation where he literally just acted it out on stage and gave away the Oculus? That was killer. He
That was
did that.
really
Put a
good.
QR code up there, just scan the QR code, put your phone number in, and then
Somebody
his
won.
cell phone's ringing, and he was talking
Yeah,
to
and
you,
he's
and
like-
I was talking to people.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's instantaneous.
Mic drop. Come see me at the booth, right? It was pretty good. It was pretty good, right? So speed to contact, but then it's about adding value in order to gain that contact, right, Dave? And again, you do this so well. Talk a little bit about that piece of it.
So, I mean, I think it's a pretty simple concept of wowing a consumer. You want to get a 5-star review, wow them, surpass their expectations, and it starts at the point of sale. Wow them with how fast you called them back. Wow them with the questions that you ask, and wow them with the content that you provide them to make a smarter mortgage decision. I think to just deliver a transaction where it's here's your rate, here's your payment, here's your cash to close, that is not a wow. And so I think leveraging technology, leveraging sales processes, so always giving a family options, so you're providing them with an uncommon level of transparency. Always show them the cost of those different things over time. They're going to appreciate it. So the more you create the wow with how you contact them, how you follow up with them, how you communicate with them in a multi-channel way. If they are responding via text, play text. So these are all just little micro wows that end up getting you the 5-star wow.
Yeah, and I remember in the Zillow study of home ownership, one of the stats they'd always give was multi-apping. And they would talk about the unbelievable number of people that are multi-apping, meaning that when they're reaching out to a lender, they're not just reaching out to one. And I think it's easy to feel as a lender sometimes like, well, I've got the pre-approval done, and now I shall wait for them to call me back when they've gotten their property accepted, right? It's you and 2, 3, 4, 5 other lenders. I mean, you're scrolling through Zillow, you can accidentally apply like 5 times just with your thumb, right?
Oh, it's like omni shopping now. I mean, if you just say the word mortgage, it's going to show up in your social feed. So people are always shopping.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. So it's all about what you're doing up front. And Dave, just for a second, I know you're so plugged in with what originators are doing so well right now to add some of that value. I think Shayla, if I remember right.
Shayla Gifford?
Yeah. Share just a couple of those strategies just real quick before we transition into the during the loan process.
Got it. Well, I would say asking questions that are different, like how old do you want to be when your home is paid off? I mean, every loan officer asks, how long do you think you can have this mortgage? Not a wow. Asking people, how old do you want to be when your home's paid off? That's different. Most bank loan officers are asking people, what are your hopes and your dreams and your goals? Really finding out what the family's real estate goals are and when they want to achieve financial freedom. Guys, that's a wow. Just like when you showed the stats of how many people aren't calling people back, the number of loan officers aren't asking those questions that create financial liberty. Whoa. I didn't do that.
Bad
You have
tomato
so much
at lunch,
energy.
or like what happened?
By electric energy, but questions create the wow.
All right.
And that was a wow.
Yeah, wow. So we're going to shift to the during, because again, we're talking about before the loan transaction takes place and how are you capturing that transaction? How are you even knowing you're in contact with them in the first place? And then ideally you've captured that by adding the value. And then you transition to the loan transaction itself and what kind of experience really turns it into a 5-star experience. So Jason, I'm going to turn to you to talk a little bit about what can happen during the loan transaction.
All right, perfect. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not very good with microphones too, so
Oh, you're super good.
I'll do my
You
best
look like
here,
a
but,
professional. Yeah.
Is the slide up?
Yep.
All right, perfect. I got a question from my team on this. I'm talking to you, Denise. I can't see you out there, but I know it's like, what the heck is that? What do an IMB?
I can't wait to hear the answer.
I
mean,
know.
I'm like, we're all.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. That's why I did it. But no, I love this slide. It's a great picture. No, but it's interesting. We'll start with the IMB. Back, I call it the first big small mortgage company that I worked for as a loan officer One of the owners, Greg F. Teo, shout out to you at Homestead Financial in St. Louis, he made a really good point one time when he said, this was back in the day when folks would call in or we would call out to them. He said, you know, when a person calls in, there is nothing more important in their life right then than their mortgage.
Yeah.
And it's our responsibility to not only, frankly, take advantage of that from a sales standpoint, but also from a respect standpoint. You fast forward it now, and that's basically what your point of sale is, what your website is, various things like that. The technology that we have nowadays. And so that was huge. It was all about the experience starting right then and recognizing that. We'll fast forward to the chicken sandwich. This was, so I don't forget the name Chick-fil-A, but as everyone is well aware, if there's one company that nails the initial experience, the initial exchange, it is Chick-fil-A. I mean, they're fanatics. I mean, they say that on their website. Thank you.
See, we got, wow.
There's a
Oh,
fan
that was
right
for
there.
Chick-fil-A? That wasn't for me?
Chick-fil-A fans.
Sorry.
Chick-fil-A is getting all the cheering.
Right. But really what they've done is, if you pay attention, if you read some things about them, they purposefully ask questions, interact, create a very good experience for their customers from right out of the gate. And they empower their folks. They can give away free food. If a person talks about they've had a tough morning that day or a tough day or something bad is happening, they empower them. They give them the tools that they need to take advantage of that situation. And then so you wrap it back around to the middle with the dentist. Has nothing to do with eating the chicken sandwich, but
That's not how you tell a joke, Jason. You're going backwards.
yeah, I know. I should have.
We'll work on this later.
The dentist was funny in the middle. I don't know. But it's interesting. I just recently relocated to a new state. And, you know, you start up, you have to get new everything. Yeah. And I went to a new dentist for the first time last week. And it hit me as I'm sitting there. I'm like, what the heck is all this stuff around me? They had so much cool stuff there. I had been going to my previous dentist in St. Louis for 10 years or so. Nothing wrong with the dentist. Dentist is fantastic. He's a great guy. Everyone there was nice. But there was nothing special about the interaction or any new technology. And so when I'm at this new dentist, I'm asking questions like, holy cow, what have I been missing out for so long? And I think what happens to folks is that they focus on, and it will cut to my next slide. What a lot of people tend to do is they tend to focus on their own experience as opposed to others' experiences, whether that's your loan officers, whether that's your borrowers, whatever the case may be.
Such a good point.
Right. We all work in technology, obviously, and the biggest struggle we have when you talk to somebody is getting them to actually do something new, and then get that adoption to take place, because people are like, I've been doing this for a long time. It works great. We have numbers. We hit all this. We do all that. Well, that's your experience. That's not your borrower's experience. That's not your loan officer's experience. And I think that's really where people miss out on the opportunity to create that experience that their borrowers are going to be blown away by.
Yeah.
And that's going to keep them coming back. And then we use the other tools, the great tools that I'm surrounded by. That sounded wrong. The great
tools
people.
that I'm
Sorry, that was
surrounded
not a dig up.
You ready to record that?
We'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, exactly. Well, one of the things, the tools you're surrounded by. The one thing I want to just point out about that too, that over the past couple of years with all the refinancing, you know, the industry's been standing in a money machine, right? And it was all about, to your point, it was about what experience can we have to get things done as quickly as possible, right? Like how do we just get them through, slam and jam, you know, just so we can like help them get their interest rate, right?
Yeah.
When it's purchase-centric with that refinance business going away, that's a completely different transaction. It is an emotional transaction when somebody's purchasing a home. Somebody's getting married, somebody's died, somebody's got a job, somebody's got a baby. I mean, something is happening, and so that experience has to be totally different. And to your very good point, it's not about how do we slam and jam and get them through as quickly as possible.
Right.
It's about how do we create an experience knowing they're going through a life event, right?
Absolutely.
It's such a great point. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I mean, I'm full of a lot of great points. How much time do we have?
Yeah, well,
Do I have
moving on.
16 minutes
No,
left, or do I
16
have
minutes.
to share it?
So,
But just throw it out at the end there. You know, we talked about giving people some actionable things that
Yes.
they can do, and really, it's simple. It's you have to find the right side of that struggle between embracing new ideas,
Yes.
new technology, looking at their experience and not just yours. versus denying all that and kind of
Right.
continuing the way you are. And then really that it comes down to that exactly that. You have to adapt, you have to adopt, and then that helps you excel.
Right on.
And I think that's what the great products that are represented on this stage along
Yeah.
with me do really well, is because they capture, they create those new experiences. They take advantage of things, as we just talked about from the very beginning. And as soon as I stop talking, we'll get to the after part as well.
Yeah. Well, but you know what? We talked about some solid takeaways. And so first of all, you know, I mean, I think from your point when we were talking about kind of before the transaction, and it doesn't matter if you're a lender or a vendor, I would tell everybody in here, go test yourself, secret shop yourself, right?
And test yourself during.
Yeah.
And what's the communication look like? I'm
Yep.
in the middle of buying a house right now, so I was texting my loan officer right before I came on stage, and I went with someone who actually communicated with me versus the referral. Someone referred someone that I've known for years, but they didn't respond to me for a couple of days. Oh wow! So
Yeah.
it's like, what? I need someone I think is thinking about me.
Yeah.
So I think that's the Dern, and that's easy with automation. Right? You can automate, so letting someone know the loan's approved. It's locked. It's ready for docs. That's really easy. The loan officers don't have to remember to do it, but it's going to help the Dern process give you that
Right
wow
on.
experience.
So test your own, you know, your website, your phone returns. I just heard a story this morning, actually. I heard a story this morning where somebody said something was broken on the website, didn't realize that there's 51 like contacts in there that were saying, hey, yeah, give me a call, I want to learn more. And they were like, oh no, right? So test yourself on that. And how many people in the room, by the way, have gotten your own mortgage done in the last year?
Let's see.
Right? Can see none of you, but I'm assuming, you know, a number of hands are up, right? Including ours, like, yeah, right? But I think that was, I mean, for me, it was eye-opening to go through that again. We forget sometimes what it's like to be, you know, going through, Dave, you were talking about going through that, I think you closed today on your, right? And so, yeah, congratulations. But we remember what that's like. And so I think what we're talking about, Jason, just to tie that point down, is to like map out your own experience. What does it actually look like to the customer to be a customer of mine, not our workflow, not our internal workflow. And I think this is true whether you're a vendor or a lender here. Map out what your workflow looks like. What does it feel like for the customer to do business with you?
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the things that a lot of people forget, and it's something that I tend to mention a lot, is that, you know, I'm a consumer in everything that I do besides my job.
Right on.
I'm not buying my product, but I'm buying everything else. And I think in many cases, we forget that we're consumers too. And if you look at it from call your end user, if we want to stick to a more technological term, but look from their experience and see, is this what I would expect? It's like when I go to a website, and if it takes me more than 2 or 3 clicks to get to where I want to, I'm done. I'm like you mentioned before, I've got another tab open, and I'm looking for something else.
Yeah.
Well, so are our customers if they're getting the same sort of experience. They're bringing somebody else up, and no matter how awesome Jason is, which by the way he is, they're going to go to somebody else, you know, or like to your point, your referral. It was, you know, you didn't go with somebody with that because of the experience you're getting from the other person. So.
Do you know it's literally only people in technology and drug dealers who call their customers end users, like users? Like really, it's us and the drug dealers.
Customer service is important.
The users, right? So, all right. So we talked a little bit about.
Let me share a quick thought. Do you mind? Just
No,
your point
please.
of experience. There's a book out there called Masters of Scale. It's by Reid Hoffman. I'm sure everybody's heard of Reid Hoffman. And in there, he interviews one of the founders of Airbnb. And Airbnb did something very interesting. They said, what would it look like to create an 11-star experience? Not a 5-star. Everyone stops at 5-star. And so imagine they went through the process and they said, okay, a 1-star experience is you book something and nobody gets back to you and the place isn't available. A 2-star experience, they get back to you, they're meeting. 3-star experience, you get there, the door is locked, you got to wait for someone. 4-star, you get there, it's open, it's got a couple, you know, everything works, but some things are broken, it's not that great. 5-star experience, the guest meets you, or the host meets you, they show you all around, tell you all good things, and then they get creative. 6-star experience, a car picks you up at the airport. 7-star experience, a limo picks you up at the airport, takes you to a great lunch first, then brings you back. An 8-star experience. So think about your experiences. Don't limit yourself to the stars that are available online.
Yeah.
Like, how do you push yourself? And literally, the 12-star, 11-star experience was a parade on the back of an elephant, and everyone's cheering your name, and it's incredible, right? And of course, that's facetious. You're never going to do that. But what if you get close, right? Then 5 stars isn't even enough, and 5-star becomes standard for you. Like it becomes standard instead of, oh, we did it, we got a 5-star. No, 5-star is standard. 7-star is what we're aiming for. 8, 12 stars. So I just want to say, it's such a cool, you guys got to read this book. And in the book, audiobook, the founder is he's the one telling the story. So get the book, but get an audio version.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, yeah, we're going to carry that point through because we talked about kind of before the loan transaction, during the loan transaction. We want to get to the after because we want the afters to all turn into befores again, right? Yeah. So I want to turn that over to you two to walk us through a little bit there.
So first, I want everybody to write down this acronym, WACD. We're in the mortgage business. Many of you represent local referral-based mortgage professionals. And this is an acronym. It stands for what Amazon can't do. In specialty retail business, specialty retailers who have crushed this are killing it. Specialty retailers who haven't, they're either losing market share or they're out of business already. Guys, we're all in this room. We got a WAZCD, our mortgage platforms, our tech stacks, and how we train our loan officers. So I wanted to set up that concept, and then I'll hand it off to you to just talk about how do we keep driving that experience through the after transaction mode.
Yeah. You want me to do that now?
Yeah, go for it.
It's my turn. And I love this slide because this is where most of the after falls flat because we're asking lots of questions. And for some reason, it seems like when we finish doing a loan for someone or we're talking with someone and they get into our database, we're like, this person's information will be like this forever. This person's going to be this age forever. This person's going to, like, people feel like nothing changes in someone's life after you do their loan, after you talk to them. But the truth is, the minute that you finish talking to them, things start to change in their life. And when you start to guess is when the experience goes from 5-star, 7-star to 1-star, right? You're not even on the map with it. And so the brightest, the ones that do care about 5-star and above experiences are thinking about this. How do we turn every single person in our database into a part of some continuous, never-ending story that we're always involved in, that we're always updated? What's the current narrative of my customer's story? Not what's an event that's happening, because events aren't siloed. People just don't, I think Dave, you said it earlier, people don't want loans, they want homes, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but they want homes not in a siloed experience either. That's part of a decision, that's part of their life that they're in. And so when you don't know, right, when you have this experience, when you're guessing, you are not going to be able to anticipate what your borrowers need. I was in New Orleans, and I always forget his name, this amazing chef. I forget his name right now, but he's a chef. He's been on Top Chef. He's been all over the place, and he did a presentation. And in his presentation, he says, the greatest experience in a restaurant is when you can anticipate your customers' needs before they ask for it. And I'm like, man, that is where the mortgage industry is going and needs to be. It's the right place to be. We do enjoy having the food delivered to us on time, having our favorite drinks, that people understand what we may want. Oh, I ordered this, you may want to couple it with this, right? We're never running out of things on the table. When I get up to use the bathroom, my napkin is folded and put it back on my, right? Like that is that's the anticipation we love to have, and it creates wow, right? It makes it memorable.
It creates wow, guys, and think of this. This is the speed to lead post-transaction, so that you're anticipating the needs. Right now, there's millions of families with equity. You know, there's 4 million families that want to buy a first-time home. There's 4 million families that qualify for HELOCs. Yeah. And when you can be the one that you can anticipate that need, you can get that alert, you can see that they have equity, you know their age, and you can be there to deliver a solution, a mortgage strategy, a solution to achieve their dreams. That's how you get 10-star reviews, is when you can really help people make meaningful tweaks in their finance.
Well, 10-star review comes from, you heard Josh say that the average response is 19 hours. And then he goes, Rocket does it in 3 seconds. Well, what's better than 3 seconds? Getting to them before they need it. And you're not guessing. That's the most important part. It's not guessing. I always tell people, and I usually have a cool slide for this, but if I had an option, I would rather be preferred than predictive, right? Because you can predict anything you want about my customer, but if my customer prefers me, then you've just reminded him to call me, right? It's like, oh, I predict you're going to do something. Oh, really? Okay, thanks. Click. Hey, Alex, should I do this? Because I'm the preferred option. So what's better than 3-second response time? What's better than 3-second response time? Getting them beforehand, right? You are the reason they're getting to the market. You're not responding to an event in the market. You're the reason they're getting there, and this is where we're going, is planning the next best loan. You're not just waiting for an event to have a loan. So in post-transaction, and it's interesting because when we say post, it means somebody's funded a deal. But guys, post also means you turn somebody down for a loan, right? Post means they weren't, how about this? Post also means I just applied for a house, 17 people bid on the house, I lost. That deal's not done. It's not post-transaction, but it's post-initial contact, and you need to know what's happening in your lives to be able to offer things that are going to be beneficial for them and valuable for them. So think about your database as a place that all of your customers live. I'll end with this. When you walk into a store, it's my favorite thing. When you walk into a store, okay, let's say you walk into Target. You're walking through Target, and you haven't purchased anything yet. And you have a question. Over the announcement, you're not going to hear somebody say, hey, some random dude needs help in aisle 6. They're going to say, a customer needs help in aisle 6. And so your database, we want to flip that to your customer base. You always want to think about everyone in your database as customers, even if they haven't purchased yet. And so that's how you turn.
You know, one quick note on that. You know, we're talking about, like, in technology, we tend to call people users. Dave, I think you said this at one point where it was such a great point that in the mortgage industry, we tend to talk about units. They're families, right? These are people. Right. These are humans. They're families. And so it's different.
They're families, and as I said in my demo earlier, and we need to reimagine what it means to be a mortgage professional and really look at how can we help the family achieve their financial goals, which, remember, if they're buying a home, it's probably to pay off that home. Or maybe it's to pay off the MI, to lower the monthly payment. And maybe it's their second home or their third home or their dream home or their investment property. The Captain of the Wealth team is always anticipating what are the financial needs of that client, and the goal is to deliver the best mortgage strategy to hit that goal. Quick tip for everybody, you know, most people in the room have some type of an alert platform. Equity alerts, they're not just refinance alerts, they're move-up alerts. It means there's people that have equity that may be looking to move up. It also means they may be looking to right-size their home. There's like 4 million people a year that are looking to move down and right-size their home. So think of, you want to deliver wow at the point of sale, and you want to deliver wow at the close of sale. You've got to deliver better content, you've got to deliver better data, and you need to go beyond the transaction.
I love it. Any parting words before we wrap it on up here?
No, I mean, I think based off, you know, what Dave was saying, I've been in the industry for 23 years, and I was a lender, and I always said, you know, you guys are loan consultants, you're not loan officers, because the truth is, you know, when I was a loan officer, I would have given anyone a 0% rate, 100% finance, and no documentation. I don't want anything. Let's just close this loan. But what my job is to help you get the best product you can qualify for, right? And if you look at it, as a loan officer, you're in that position where, guess what? You have a bigger picture of their financial numbers than anyone else does, right? So, you know, you want to make something of value, and then after the transaction, make sure you keep in touch with them, but also give them like something of value, something that they want to interact back with you, something that they might respond to, something that's going to, you know, give back. We have people that send out home value reports every month. They get a report of all the homes that sold in their neighborhood and what the stats are, statistics and inventory. People look at it because guess what? You want to look at it. I want to know what my home's worth. I want to know what homes sold in the neighborhood, and you can't really find that anywhere else. So something of value is really important to leave behind for people as well.
Right on. Well, besides heading next door and talking to you and your team, where can people go to learn a little bit more about Incelerate?
Go to Incelerate.com. I mean, you can see the name on the back behind us here, or somewhere around here.
Now you're just bragging.
There you go. Well, in case you need to spell it, Incelerate.com. Go in there, ask for a demo, ask to talk to one of our team members, and you'll see what engagement looks like as well.
All right. And Jason, how about you? I know cloudburger.com, you know, but like.
Yeah, cloudburger.com. Like, we're next door as well. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, text, phone, all the things that we talk about that we want to get
and
our
test them,
customers.
see if they respond.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's about having a conversation. I'm a relationship person to begin with. That's how I always try to conduct myself when I was a loan officer as well. Because frankly, it's how I would want to be treated, and it's how I want to be treated as a consumer.
Right on.
And I think if we just remember that, we're all going to kick butt and leave no borrow behind.
Yeah.
Right, I like that.
I like that.
Mortgagecoach.com. Also follow me on LinkedIn, and we've got a YouTube channel, Mortgage Coach YouTube channel, where we're interviewing top loan officers that are closing over 100, 200, the number one loan officer in the country every week. Check it out.
All right,
And no borrower left behind.
And no borrower left behind.
yeah.
Everyone's going to sign off like that for the rest of the conference, just so everybody knows. Salesboomerang.com, LinkedIn, 443.
Yeah. Well, there's a
Booth is out there.
Yeah, but
and no
there's-
borrower left behind.
There's the definition of insanity, right? The old definition of insanity, which was you keep doing the same things and expect different results. I think the new definition of insanity is you keep doing the same things and you think you're going to get the same results that you did last year or the year before. You're not going to, right? So it is time to look at something different. Highly encourage you to reach out to these gentlemen and their fine companies, and please give it up for them and the great time we did today.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks to all of you.